I'm Anna.
And I'm Ben.
We're AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching Attack on Titan Season 4, Episode 26. Last episode was an interesting one. A lot of cool and different editing, and a lot of Jean. And I love that. I love Jean. I've missed Jean and getting him and his way of thinking. I feel like it's been a while since we've been in Jean's head, and it was a nice return to his character last episode.
Right. I mean, I really kind of got two things that I absolutely love last episode. I mean, I probably got a longer list of things I loved than two things, but Reiner content, always love that, and Jean content,
and
always
locomotives
love that.
too,
and trains. Yes,
cool.
Always love trains.
Yeah,
that's what I watch this show for.
Yeah, trains and horses. You know, the modes of transportation.
That's
they're always top tier in this show. Yeah. I don't know. I'm enjoying where we're at right now. Flock seemingly has the Azuma Bitos under his. I don't know. Definitely not protection. Under his threat, under his gun.
Threatening them.
Yeah.
I don't know really understand what is going to happen here, because obviously if Aaron's plan is to kill everyone, then no one outside of the island is safe.
Yeah.
So is he just going to shoot her here?
I imagine that since they are the ones with the air balloon, the airship, right? That's our characters, our group. Like so I imagine that our group is going to try to get up there like the plan was laid out this past episode, and then we're going to meet a difficult battle and fight at that point.
Is this Flock's end? Is this the end of Flock?
So that's a good question, because like on one hand, I'm like, oh yeah, it's going to be a fierce battle once we get there. Man, we have like a bunch of Titans and like skilled people. What does Flock have?
Anti-Titan.
Yeah, you're right. It's interesting. Now we're fighting the scouts in a weird way. Not the scouts, but Jaegerists. You know what I mean?
But like, really it's going to be like Jean versus Flock. And maybe Mikasa swoops in also, both of them, especially since, they got married in Jean's stream last episode.
That was great. I wonder if it's going to be like the fight between like Levi's squad and us, like the scouts a couple seasons ago.
Levi is another question for me, because is Levi just going to be watching all of this?
That's a great question, because when we were talking to your dad, because he was catching up on the show, he mentioned that he was upset they didn't bring Hitch along too, and Annie left Hitch behind.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, but it could be to protect Hitch, And he was like, nah. Hitch could be like a infiltrator, you know, like a spy or something.
Point.
And I'm like, okay, maybe, but there's one thing I'm sure of. Levi is really injured. What can he do? Can he stand up on his own? Can he fight in any regard? Because we've been told that he's kind of out of commission.
If anything, the Levi situation is the major plot twist of this story, because I doubt it would have ever occurred to us over the course of watching Levi's badassery.
Yeah.
Would we ever think that he wouldn't be involved in some monumental endgame battles?
Yeah. All right. I'm in. You ready?
I am in, yes.
Sweet. Who's going to be the one looking through the telescope?
Hanji? Oh, Maggot. And Hanji? Oh, it's not an airship, it's a literal plane.
That's true. This is so surreal. A storm? Huh. It's like completing the mission on expert difficulty.
She's still the harshest, most blunt one. Oh, the division. Oh my god.
Ah.
That's what it was.
Jesus.
Well, she can't really tell you if you're covering her mouth.
Oh! Magath and Gabby, man.
There's a connection and a care there. I love that line.
Mm-hmm.
I will not stand by with clean hands.
Jesus Christ.
In front of everyone too.
Pretty good acting, right?
Yeah.
Flock's still like, I don't know.
Puts him in an interesting place though.
Traitor?
お前らなら敵国だろうとってそんな気もしたんだ。起爆装置を外したぞ。
あとは完成した飛行艇にどうにかしてみんなを乗せて
The look on Armin's face.
無用な血は流れない。失敗した。
Did you see Mikasa?
Mikasa! Yes!
Nice. Oh,
Oh!
the imprint left on his face. Oh. Jesus. Oh. Oh. Follow me if you want to live. Oh no. Oh no.
He's gonna set it back up.
早く飛行艇を爆破しろ。早くやれ。裏切ったんだろう。コニー。一緒に土地を増やして言ったのによ。なんでこんな。逃げ場のない地下にこもるつもりか。
Oh,
Oh my god.
Oh my god!
Oh!
It's beautiful.
I missed you. I missed you. Oh my god! Oh!
Punched out of the air. She's gonna kick him.
Oh! I'm glad we never have to fight both of them at the same time. Okay, that was Attack on Titan, Season 4, Episode 26. Oh my god. I can't get out of my head Reiner being like, is that what he meant?
Oh, I thought you were gonna say, but that is also awesome. I thought you were gonna say Reiner and then
Oh, well,
Annie
that too.
behind
Come
Flock.
on.
I was like, I can't get that out of my head.
That's like a screensaver in itself, you know? That's
but
great.
You're right. That was also like giant.
Yeah, and I don't know, like it prefaced everything to come without me realizing it, and that ending moment sucks, and it's hard, you know?
You know what? I think that it seems really perfect to have those two, kind of Armin reflecting on Bertholdt's words and then Reiner reflecting on Aaron's words. I think it's really perfect here because of what we were describing last episode as a time period for everyone to understand each other and get on the same page and kind of like air out, you know, what we've done wrong and understand why at the time they justified doing that.
Yeah.
And how they feel about it now, and coming to an understanding of what everyone is on the same page about. And I think that is so awesome to have some understandings happening in this next episode for characters who are no longer like in this time period. Obviously Aaron is still alive, unlike Berthold, but he is not currently there.
Yeah. Did Connie even get to finish?
No, he didn't. He didn't get to finish.
I think that's the best part of it almost.
I was trying to guess what he was going to say, like we just don't want to kill people, you know, but he didn't finish, and he just wow.
It definitely just brings me back to like there's such a good parallel between that and then Reiner also disassociating because he killed these people that I don't think he realized were his friends on a deeper level, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's, I don't know. When you see the blood splatter behind the dude's head that Connie's on top of, and he's Samuel. Like shooting multiple times, you know?
Mm-hmm. And obviously, these are two characters that we don't really know, but we were under the impression from the first couple minutes of this episode that some of these people were actual cadets with the group at the time. And I have a feeling that these two probably were by how they were the ones chosen for this encounter. That makes it even more painful for Connie here and for Armin.
Armin's kind of... he doesn't have many options here. Like, yeah, sure, he has the power of the Titan, but if he turns, there's a pretty good chance that he kills Connie.
Yes, Connie's right there.
And the airship.
And the airship is right there. Right, so Armin, Connie really had to make... Don't you think Connie kind of had to make this choice here? In some way, because of the fact that Armin couldn't do anything here, because it would kill Connie and blow up the airship, which they're trying to not do?
No, I do. It's just a messed up situation, because it's like... A couple episodes ago, we're like, I'm going to have Connie being like, I'm going to be the person that my mom would be proud of, you know? I'm going to be like the best idea of like a soldier. And like how it would be a hard thing to justify this. And I think that's why Connie didn't finish talking. Like, cause he, like with the amount of time given, there's nothing you could say.
Mm-hmm. And we also know that Connie has kind of also come to some type of awareness and understanding that that obviously this is the kind of bad part about being a soldier, but also the Titan powers and how that is not a way to want to live either. Yeah. Connie has really I think understood a lot over the last couple episodes and really kind of maybe found himself a little more where he might have been lost. Especially after what happened to his family and then Sasha dying, he probably felt a little lost. And then with the whole interaction with Armin and Falco, and then he says it to us and he's aware of the fact that that is not a life he would want for his mom, and his mom wouldn't want it, even though he was about to bring her back. Yeah. He contradicts himself. And I think that having this moment here with him felt so good and so sad. Yeah. With Armin obviously being the one next to him and him choosing to be the one to stain his hands because he knew that if he didn't do this, the airship would probably be lost. Armin would be shot again, you know?
I loved when Armin chose to spoke up to Magath and he was like, we're not just going to sit here with clean hands. He I was worried when I saw the look on his face previously, and to see him go forward with I'll make a quick plan. Hopefully it works, but it's not looking great. And if it doesn't work, we're going to go through with this.
It's so funny that a lot of Armin's plans involve him acting.
Do you think that him or Jean, right? Yeah. Jean's pretty good at acting too. But do you think that
Jean might have been more convincing here, but Armin had the leverage of they killed Jean to Flock, which obviously I think to Flock would mean more.
Do you think that having to go through with this is going to affect Connie and Armin?
Well, that's an interesting question because, you know, if some of the events over the last couple seasons hadn't happened, I would say yes. I mean, I'm sure it all piles up and it adds to it, but I think back for Armin specifically, that episode where he killed a person for the first time, and then the port.
Yeah.
What he did at the port.
Yeah.
I'm sure this is just all, it never goes away and it never doesn't feel like anything, but at some point they might possibly get numb to it.
Yeah.
And it might just kind of body on top of body, build on top of each other.
It like it drives you crazy to a certain extent too. Like I don't know. Because once you get to Eren, right? Eren's trying to destroy the entire world, right? Like, for lack of a better way to put it, or a simple way to put it, he's trying to destroy the world and the people on it, other than the island, and he's doing so by what, at the end of the day, whatever the cost. And it's a completely different reason Armin and Mikasa and the gang are doing. Okay, so Armin and Mikasa and everybody else, we have the right idea, right, to stop Eren and try to save the world, save as many people as possible. But I'm scared that once we get to Eren, he's going to be like, well, what did you do to get here? You have to kill people. How is what you did to get here any different than what I'm doing? And it is extremely different. But it's like our characters are having to go through this, like, bloodshed, and it's something that they don't want to do, and I'm scared of the repercussions of that for them.
I think I might, from what you just said, I think I might change slightly. I don't think there's going to be a numbness at all. I think this is kind of, if you think about Eren as maybe being like the boss battle, it makes sense that these people would be the step before that. Because yes, I said, like, Armin already killed someone and then the port. But what were those scenarios? People trying to kill you actively that you didn't know. Marley, who had sent, Titans to attack and break down the walls. Obviously, you can distance yourself and think of them as an enemy to some extent. Easier, these are cadets that we have trained with for years and are friends of ours that are on the island with us that will also be spared of this. And I think it really is highlighted with what I think her name's Kiyomi said.
Yeah.
About just to flock, like, once it's just you guys, they're still gonna be killing each other. And it's like, yeah.
Yeah, she was like, the world will shrink. That's all. Yeah. And I was like, oh, yeah. Like, and she's right to a degree, right? And it's only a matter of time before more fighting starts over whatever it will be. But I don't know, like, Armin and Connie and everybody, they're going through something that you can kind of say Reiner has been through to a slightly different degree, but just hurting, like, killing people that you have developed a life around. And it's something that might be really hard to come back from.
I mean, think about Annie and Bertholdt's reaction to Marco, to Reiner's choice there with Marco. Like,
it was traumatizing.
Similar facial expressions and similar actions to what Armin and Connie are having to do here is fight against someone you trained with as a cadet because either they are going to out you to everyone as being, a Marleyan spy, or, or kill you, or
this is
or
what they needed to do.
You needed to do this. And Armin and Connie are kind of in a similar boat.
Do you think it's meant to be a loose parallel?
Yes, because Annie and Reiner are fighting together.
Yeah.
And then we have... Everything is, like, so perfect. And all I can think back to is that mural on the ceiling in the courthouse where when we first got that, we were really confused by it. Because we were like, I thought Titans were the enemy. Why is there a mural in their courthouse of humans fighting humans? And we were like, I wonder if that's, like, a history. Like a pre this,
nature,
and honestly, it's just that is so prevalent still of, like, an idea that it's so funny that when I saw it for the first time, I was just confused by it because I was like, well, that's not the world that we're seeing. We're seeing humans, which we thought were the last humans alive inside this walled-in area, but we're seeing a painting of people killing people. And then it's like, that was like the breadcrumbs of starting to open up the world to us. Ugh.
This hell won't end until we turn away from all this senseless killing. Like,
that was a great line. Because we know of Aaron's usage of the word hell.
Yeah. So, you know the whole conversation. So how do you think that we were told, or that Flock was told about the Armin and Connie being like traitors, I guess, or going against the cause? So we had the Backpack Titan pick up Jean, Anyan Capone, and Yelena, right?
I'm sure that you'd be a little bit suspicious because of what was the sound to tell everyone to start this mission, which was Jean not shooting Anya Capone 4 times.
Yeah.
And Flock obviously saw that. And Flock was the one that kind of had the best view, probably, of this escape and Peak taking them within her mouth as the cart titan.
Yeah. The truth is, we heard you guys teamed up with Marley and want to use the flying boat to stop the rumbling, supposedly. That was an idea that we came up with, like, the last episode.
Right. And this is all interesting because they're also sweating, and he does deactivate it, you know? He does. So it's like, are they hoping that
they don't want to
the
believe
case?
That. Yeah.
So they're like, they're somewhat acting here, but they're nervous, and they're like, okay, maybe we are going to trust Armin and Connie here. But there's such this tense, weird energy of everyone's on edge. Like,
who's the traitor?
On edge.
And the episode title is Traitor, right?
Well, I mean, I guess that's subjective to the people in the show, because the Jaegerists see Armin, Mikasa, Jean, Connie, they see them as traitors here because they're going against the progress of rebuilding Eldia.
Yeah. I was worried one of our people, like...
I know.
Yeah.
When they started, like, saying things like, oh, you're going to use the flying boat to stop the rumbling, I was, like, starting to pick through who we had, and I was like, there is no way. It's not Levi. It's not Hanji. Like, no one fit the bill for me for who could possibly have wanted, you know,
for a second,
to kill everyone.
For the second, I was scared that it was, like, if I was trying to think of who it would have been Annie, I thought, because she had just heard that they set foot in Marley already.
Oh, so like maybe changing up plan because she was so distraught over the idea that her father could already
and wanted
be dead.
To like hurry up, but there was no, obviously that's not the route that it went. Did you want to read the mid-roll for the flying boat?
Hizuru technology must be used to service the world's first flying boat, which uses ice-burst stone as fuel. Since it was designed to observe the might of the rumbling, the craft is capable of long-distance intercontinental flight.
It's pretty cool.
Very cool. I think it's especially cool that, like, yes, Anya Capone was like, I could pilot it. I just can't, like, start it.
Yeah.
Can't get the wings out. I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like this Hizuru technology is just kind of given to us in these little tiny, like... oh, like this grand idea and we're only given little nuggets of it, but like I kind of want to zoom in.
Did they have like a whole
and, like, see
once they got access to like the crystal, did they have like a whole like technological like renaissance? Like I want to see their culture. Did like they're making locomotives, they're making airships. Like
I know, and when Flock said like I think his one calling card of thinking that this was a ruse was, oh well, why are they sneaking around on horseback and not taking the train?
The locomotive,
and I'm like, because they didn't decide they were gonna lie to you until they got here. But honestly, if the plan had started working before getting here, that would have been smart, because no one's gonna think that you're a traitor when you're putting yourself out in the open like that, like on the train that is obviously going to the destination of the Jaegerists.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been a great place to start. It's just we had to have our little circle time in the woods.
Yeah.
And that wouldn't have happened if...
What do you think about this little like the conversation happening here? So when Annie says you guys shouldn't be expected to do this nor expected to make that choice in the first place, and then she goes on to say, unlike us, you probably wouldn't have destroyed the wall that day, which is the thing that triggers Reiner into remembering what Aaron said of, like, I thought I'm the same as you. That's saying that, like, correct me if I'm wrong, saying like I'm the same as you, like would he have can he see why Reiner did that?
He
that
would have
day?
been willing to break down the walls. I think is what we're...
And that's what he is... Aaron right now is
doing.
breaking down the wall, right?
To all those other places.
Yeah.
And I think, Annie's highlighting that Mikasa, Jean, and Armin and Connie are all willing to save the lives of those that are going to come and attack them.
Yeah.
Where Reiner and Annie were told about this island that will have a rumbling that will attack us, and they were willing to attack the island. And Aaron is, doing the same.
I feel like the only people who could get to Aaron and talk to him are people who know what he's been through. And it seems like all of our characters are learning what he's been through in their own ways and learning this horrific trauma and tragedy. And I think that I would love to see Reiner and Aaron talk again. Mm-hmm. Like that. Like, I don't know what it would look like, where it would be, what it would take, but God, their conversations have like I don't know. Season 4, like their conversation in the basement was nuts.
I never thought that they were going to have such a connection be created in the show, and then obviously we have, the Aaron's line, the "I'm the same as you," and from there you realize just how much they were connected. And then from this episode, it's really like painting a picture of, like we just said, Aaron might have been willing to do the same thing that they were doing that day.
Yeah.
With the information that they had, if he had that. Gosh, I maybe it needs to be Reiner. Maybe that's the case, is maybe Reiner is the only one that would truly understand Reiner, and I guess Annie would also understand Aaron. But it seems like I like what you said, that everyone's kind of getting closer to understanding Aaron or connecting with what he's had to do and what he's willing to do by their actions in order to stop him.
Yeah.
Staining our hands with blood. We're going down that path, and it makes me think of Mikasa after the infiltration of Marley and after Aaron killed kids and innocent civilians, and Mikasa was like, Aaron, you just killed like kids and innocent civilians, and he barely reacted to that.
They're all doing whatever it takes to save the world in their own perception, right? In their own point of view. Like each character has taken steps to do it, that like anything necessary to that point.
I could have seen it going where I thought it was going to go at the beginning of the episode, which was that for at least the beginning of the attack, that that Armin, Mikasa, Jean, Connie were going to stay put and let Reiner and Annie do this.
Yeah.
I could have seen that happening. I'm glad it didn't, because obviously I think we got some really interesting stuff that happened because they got involved, and I think it, like you had said, it brings them kind of closer to a place that I think maybe they could talk to Aaron and understand him in a way that they could sit down and have a conversation. Like,
what's the Zumabito lady's name? I don't want to get it wrong. That's my only thing. Do you have any idea?
Kiyomi, but
Kiyomi?
Mikasa said it once in this episode, and there was a lot going on.
Gotcha. But she had some great moments this episode, some great dialogue, and then she put down Flock. That was nuts. I was like, hell yeah.
Awesome.
I was worried that once we heard the shot go off, that she was trying to sacrifice her own life to buy enough time for the scientists to do something, or the engineers.
That could make sense. I mean, she is more of just a political figure. She's not one that actually understands and can unlock the technology. But
it was so badass. I was so happy she stood up and did something to Flock.
And Flock obviously did not have any idea that something like that was going to happen.
It's great. It's amazing. And then that's when Mikasa kicks into the window. There's a it's really funny detail when Mikasa...
Are you gonna...
Yeah. When she pushes the gun onto this dude's face and then it comes off and you see the red mark of blood from where the gun was. That was pretty cool. The highlight of the episode visually, though, by far had to have been the Annie and Reiner crossover. you know?
That really was the best. I do find it interesting, something about Flock this episode that had to do with the Azumabitos, which was that he acknowledged an awareness to the fact that, you know, even though the world would shrink, you know, they're still going to be fighting.
Yeah.
You're just shrinking the world. And he has this kind of awareness that is the truth, but still willing to take this step. It's interesting that he's kind of like, I've already decided, I've already crossed the threshold. I'm already like making this decision,
and I'm still gonna get what I want,
and I still get what I want. And like he brought up to Jean, he was like, don't you want to be that MP, like up in a fancy room, you know? And Jean had dreams of it.
Well, yeah, and if you're Flock, I'm sure that he would rather, if a fight comes up that's like internal and like an uprising within the island, that's like, yeah, but also that's a lot easier for him to deal with because he's already, they've already gone down the route of which he believes is the best for the world. This is like what he truthfully believes, and that's what Aaron's doing.
Best for his world, yeah. It's not even like he doesn't even think, he's definitely thinking the best for my world that I know and I've seen, not
for the Eldians.
Yes.
Yeah, for the Jaegerists.
The Jaegerists.
If this episode was produced in season 2, when Annie and Reiner transformed, they would have the outlines of their Titan form. Remember that?
Yeah.
In season 2 when Bert and Reiner were on the wall and like that huge moment, and we stopped it on the frame and you could see the outline sketchy of each of their Titan forms. I was really hoping that we'd get that here because like it'd be such a good callback, and instead of Bert Holt, we would have gotten it with Annie. That would have been really cool. The music was great this episode though. Loved that. Did you like the music this episode?
I liked this whole episode.
Yeah?
Okay, I just thought of something that we should bring up. Yelena does possibly know where Aaron is going.
Yeah.
And she decided she doesn't want to die, and she wants to be brought with so she can see this.
Well, I was like, yeah, it's Yelena. Like, I didn't believe for 1 second, I feel like that she would have wanted to die. She wants to see the world crumble under Aaron.
See, I don't know. I thought that she was so into mainly Zeke out of that scenario and Zeke's plan.
Oh, no, you're right.
That she would be so devastated over the fact that Aaron must have taken control from Zeke. And be so devastated over that she would be like, there's no reason to live. I don't know. That's what I was possibly thinking for her. But...
The reason I say that, though, is Zeke's with Aaron, right? So, like, if Yelena can stay alive long enough to get to where Zeke is, there's a chance.
Save him.
Yeah, there's, like, a chance of at least having an interaction with him, like, maybe saving him.
I mean, didn't they kind of make it seem last episode like she was, like, in love with him? Like, that he was a prince to her?
Like, it's that, like, dream, right?
Yeah,
that
a dream.
illusion.
Like, obviously, he doesn't need to have feelings for her, but this obviously what he was saying to her was so beautiful that she was willing to recreate her entire person in order to make his dreams come true.
I have a question. When you see, like, we've had it a few times, but, like, when you see somebody with the power of the Titans get, like, seriously hurt, like Armin getting shot 3 times, have you become, like, okay, I don't have much of a reaction because I know that they're fine?
It's because it's because it was Armin that I didn't have... It's more, my reaction was purely to the disgust of it. Because he was shot through the mouth, and then obviously he's looking at this guy, Dawes, you know, like, oh, his mouth open. I was like,
yeah,
I can just
his
imagine
teeth are all
that
broken.
being, like, horrifying to look at.
Yeah.
That was my reaction. It was more focused on the gore of the injuries and less on what it would mean for that person being shot, because it's Armin and he has the Colossal Titan.
I don't know. It's interesting because, like, for Armin's sake, I don't react much to it. But then I start thinking about how, end of season 1, the people that we're fighting are humans, right? Or people like us. And if somebody that you know is turned into a Titan, it's still going to be hard to kill them. But when you're both still human and you're having this interaction and you're lying to each other and you've had this history with each other, it's so, like, brutal. I don't know. I do you still think Connie's gonna die? We
really felt that when he was on the horse with Falco. I think that I don't feel that anymore. I think they saved Connie.
I think he's still gonna die.
Really?
Yeah. I feel like it's gonna be for something. Like, I feel like he's going to, like, do an action.
I think if anyone's gonna die for something, it's Jean.
I can't imagine Jean dying.
Really?
Yeah.
Especially with this whole, like, this whole thing since season 1 of him having this crush on Mikasa.
I can't imagine Jean dying. I would be distraught if Jean
obviously
died.
I don't want it to happen. I could, for some reason, imagine if we were going to pick someone that doesn't have a Titan power.
Yeah.
And that has been with us since season 1, I unfortunately would pick Jean as being the person narratively that would die either in order to protect Eren, maybe. You know how they said, like, would you, if we got to Eren, would you stop us from killing him? And it makes me wonder if it was going to be someone who couldn't survive the attack, would it be, out of the two, I mean, Jean and Connie, it would be Jean. Mikasa would obviously do it, but I feel like it would be way better if it was like Mikasa jumps and then Jean pushes Mikasa out of the way, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I could see that, but that's probably because I've seen tropes like that before in other things. So maybe I don't want that because I'm guessing it already.
Maybe. I'm looking back through some old notes. Want to know what hits different?
What?
Season 1, episode 14. Eren, bet everything you have on me. I mean,
he really
I don't know, man. Like his goal is still to protect the island, but
I can't wait to rewatch this.
Right. I don't know, man. I don't know what else to say.
Magath and Gabby.
That's
a little something from this episode too. There's a definite care there, and it seems like it's for all of the kids, but specifically Gabby kind of pulls at his heartstrings, I think.
I think that it is clear to him that Gabby has changed, and seeing that change within Gabby is a kid. I think makes him reevaluate a few things, maybe.
I think that's a great way to go with it, that maybe Gabby is the reason that Magath was able to kind of look at himself in a way that he said he was purposefully trying to not look at himself, to see that he had become as vile as Marley. Because Magath really thought, especially at the beginning of this season, he was on the side of Willy. And he was like, I think he had this air about him, like he was making a very righteous, good choice, and he wasn't necessarily aligned with Marley. And I think he's still realizing here that he was still willing to justify horrible actions.
Yeah.
You know? I like it. I like it a lot. Levi just has to watch all of this.
Yeah, I know. That's like, I'm looking at a picture, like a still of Levi right now, and I'm like, he's been laying down, he's been sitting on a wall watching it. He literally he doesn't have a choice. What
do you think that means, that we've seen him 2 times in this episode, either not being involved or observing?
He is like our Master Roshi on the sideline explaining the fight to us. Like at this point, he can't fight, but we have him as a point of view, right? As a perspective. My big question is, how is he going to end up killing Zeke? How is he going to do it? Is he going to muster the strength barely?
Which, it's so funny because he's like, I'm going to kill Zeke. But like, Zeke is probably just like stuck inside of Eren Titan's body.
Yeah.
In some way.
Would the kill be too easy?
I mean, maybe he'd be able to do it even injured, and that's how easy it'd be.
Yeah.
But I couldn't see the show doing something comedic like that.
No, me either. Again, highlight of the episode was, for me, was the transformation behind Flock.
I think when it happened, I think I said beautiful or something like that when it happened. And
then seeing Annie kick these groups of people.
We get Reiner punching, and then we get Annie kicking, and I'm like, I missed Annie fighting so much.
I didn't, because when she did, it always she
bad.
killed Petra.
Yeah,
but
I meant she's very graceful and fun to watch.
Yes, but
if you're not thinking about the fact
seeing
that
her on screen is always a joy.
Yes.
God, Petra,
Just not what
Olvo,
she's
Gunter.
necessarily. If you actually like take yourself a step further and think about the consequences of her actions, then you're like, oh,
I don't know.
Describe it as beautiful, but
it's hard for me to say like I'm rooting for her right now all the way because of just the horrific actions that are having to happen. But in a way, I am, and it's fun to root for her.
Isn't that Attack on Titan?
Yeah.
Isn't that just the show?
You're right. It is.
That you're rooting for people that are doing, like, horrible things that you don't actually fully agree with.
Yep. That's Attack on Titan.
That's Attack on Titan.
All right. You good?
I think so.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time.